I recently enjoyed, as one of my Friday night movies, The Cassandra Crossing. It's a disaster movie, an Anglo-Italian production from 1976, produced by the two great titans of Lou Grade and Carlo Ponti. And it's about a train travelling across Central Europe, supposedly from Geneva to Stockholm, but there has been a break-in at an American-run lab at the International Health Organization. One terrorist is shot, another one is captured and dies in hospital of plague that he's managed to pour all over himself, but a third has got away, gets as far as the railway station, stows away on the train, and starts walking backwards and forwards along the train, touching children, coughing on all the food, and generally being a nuisance. And it's discovered that there's a plague carrier on the train. The passengers start panicking, and the train is going to be sealed, and there's all kinds of chaos. And the film ends up in a lengthy half-hour gun battle between hazmat-suited soldiers on the train and the passengers, led by neuroscientist Richard Harris and his double ex-wife author Sophia Loren, an elderly Jewish con man played by Lee Strasberg, inventor of the method, O.J. Simpson as a priest who's actually an Interpol agent, and Martin Sheen as a drug-addicted ex-mountaineer turned drug mule. It's one of those movies. It's not very good. It's very hard to take seriously in any way, but it's also quite sloppily assembled. The disaster movies capitalise on the idea of visual spectacle. So you can have buildings on fire and earthquakes and cruise liners rolling over in the water, and here it's an illness. It's too esoteric a threat to feel like a great disaster. And another issue is that the train winds up travelling from Geneva across Switzerland, southern Germany and Czechoslovakia. Apparently no concern about crossing the Iron Curtain. But we rarely see anything outside of the carriages, and certainly nothing that's recognisable. There's a sequence where the train pulls in at Nuremberg in southern Germany to be sealed and have its own oxygen system put in. But they could be railway sidings literally anywhere. The title comes from a bridge on the Czechoslovak-Polish border that the train has to cross in order to get to an internment camp, which was formerly a concentration camp in the Second World War. But the bridge is thought to be too shaky and too fragile to withstand the impact of this intercontinental train. So there's this ticking clock over, are they going to be able to solve this before they get to the bridge, and the bridge collapses. And General Burt Lancaster, who's masterminding the whole clean-up operation in Geneva, appears to have plans of his own. As I say, the film is very hard to take seriously. There are all sorts of these characters all mashed together. One actor is playing the wife of the largest arms dealer in the world. This is mentioned once and never becomes relevant again. He could just be a big business mogul. But no, he's an arms dealer. Why? It doesn't matter. It's totally irrelevant. But the characterization is weak and cliched. The action doesn't make sense. The story is too... there's no immediacy to it. Tom Mankiewicz, who had written several James Bond films and would go on to be the architect of the scripts for the early Superman films with Richard Donner, had a large hand in writing the script, and he apparently referred to it as the towering germ, which I think it sums up very neatly what the problem is with the film. It's a rip-off of other, better, more entertaining movies, but it totally fails to understand why they're entertaining, why they are visually exciting. Because you've got a big building on fire, because you've got a cruise liner that's rolled over in the water, and now it's upside down. You've got a train full of people who've got flu, and that's it. And a lot of them don't seem terribly concerned, and a lot of them don't seem terribly worried either when a huge gun battle breaks out at the end of the movie. And the end of the movie is absurdly over the top and incredibly violent and ridiculous, and explains why the movie didn't do very well. It's directed by George Pan Cosmatos, who was a very workmanlike filmmaker. His best known film, I think, is probably Rambo First Blood Part 2. But his son, Panos Cosmatos, directed Beyond the Black Rainbow and Mandy, which are terrific films, which draw on his father's sort of B-movie background to create an interesting remix. So it seems like the best thing that George Pancosmatos ever did was raise his son right.